Hi, this is Craig Stocks at Utah Desert Remote Observatories. You can find us online at utahdesertremote.com. And today I'm going to be processing this data of the North American Nebula, NGC 7000. This was captured over 3 nights with a Seestar S30 Pro. And what prompted this video was a video that popped up on my YouTube feed. So today I'm going to walk through start to finish an easy way to process this data from the Seestar using PixInsight and Photoshop and PiMagic Studio. So we're going to start in pick calibration masters. In this case, it's 3 stacked FITS files from the Seestar that have been stacked each night, but we still have 3 files. And you could process 1, 2, 5, it doesn't really matter. But I'll just click on Add Files, and I'm going to pick these 3 files of the North American Nebula from the Seestar. And let's make sure we've got the North America from the Seestar. There we go, get the right folder. These are the 3 files I want. Now, if I'm not sure I have the right files, there is a preview feature. If I click on preview, it will open the file as a preview in PixInsight, so I can confirm that, yeah, that's the image I want. And I could have stepped through and looked at the other files. The only other thing I do, it's already picked out the name from the file name, so it knows that it's the North American Nebula. I'll just do a quick filter check to make sure everything is correct. Most importantly, that it has identified the filter correctly. And I'll just click Apply and Close, and it tells me that everything is in good shape. And at this point, I just press Start. And what PiMagic is going to do is go through the complete PixInsight workflow. If there are calibration frames, first it would calibrate the files. Now in this case there's no calibration frame, so it drops straight down through to registering the 3 frames. And again, these are 3 master lights from different nights, so they probably are going to have some registration difference as the Seestar did its pointing from night to night. Once it has those registered, then it's going to do the usual stacking and integration. And normally, about this point, I would pause the video and just come back when it's done. I thought it would be useful to just let this run so you can see in real time how long it really takes to integrate these 3 files from the Seestar. Now, the nice thing is, after it does the integration and combines those 3 files into a single master light representing the total time of all 3 nights, then it will continue on doing the usual processing that I always do with all of my files. And the process is going to be a little different depending on whether it's one-shot color like this is, or if it's LRGB from a mono camera, or narrowband, or some combination of those. PiMagic understands all those different combinations, so it's going to do whatever processing is appropriate for your files. Now, I always just run using the defaults, so it's going to do a basic deconvolution sharpening to sharpen the stars. It'll do spectrophotometric color calibration. It'll do a second deconvolution to sharpen the nebula. It'll stretch the image. It'll do a denoise step. And then lastly, it will separate the stars. It also creates some annotation overlays, so you can have annotations on your image if you want. It also, since it's doing the integration, it knows how much time went into that data, so it can capture that metadata and make that available as a text overlay also. Now, it'll create a couple of JPEG previews, so you'll get some couple JPEGs that you could work with immediately, but the real goal is to create something that you can then edit in Photoshop or another text editor. You could certainly open the JPEG into something like Affinity or GIMP or Photoshop and continue working with it. I like to work with the 16-bit TIFF files that it creates because that gives me more flexibility than working with an 8-bit JPEG. We can see it's processing now. It's looks like it's completed the plate solve. It's running the second deconvolution. Then it will apply a stretch. Now, the defaults just you do these automatically. If you turn off smart mode, then you have access to a whole set of settings if you want to specify different stretch parameters or different de-blur settings, or you can control most of the settings and have that. You can turn that step off, or you can run that step with different settings, and then you can save those settings that you have just created as a template so that you don't have to go through and set them each time if you do find you want to use something other than just the defaults. So at this point it is just about done. It's calculating the annotations, and then it's going to remove the stars, and then it'll save some outputs. It'll save the JPEG previews, and then it'll save the 16-bit TIFF files. So there's one of the previews with annotation applied. And you can see here the metadata that was captured, and that includes the integration time, the number of frames, and so forth, what filters were used. So it's just about done. Give it just a couple more seconds here. So there's the stars. It has now separated the stars so that we have a stars layer and a starless layer. Saving the final outputs. And we're done. And when it's done, the file, the window pops back up, and that lets us know that we're done. So I'll just close this. So if we look at what was created, let me go to the swap files. Because one of the things we specified in the inputs, and it's a sticky setting, so it's always the same folder. It's this folder of swap files. Here's the folder that it just created, and among other things, here's master files if you want those. This PiMagic has the main output files. This is where the previews would live. So here are the two previews files, one with annotations and one without annotations. So if I just open this up, this is what that annotated JPEG looks like. So you could work with this. You could also work with the unannotated JPEG, which is what you see here. What you probably really want to do is work with the 16-bit TIFF files that are captured here. Now, you could load these into Affinity or any photo editor that you want, and you can tell this is the starless, the stars, and so forth. What I do is use the accompanying Astromagic plugin, and that comes with PiMagic Studio for Photoshop. And once it's installed, you just open Astromagic, go to the Import tab, click on Import Folder, and then we just tell it what folder we want it to import, and it's this one that was, it would be this one that we just created. Select folder, and it's going to go through all of those folders, find the files that it wants, load them into Photoshop, arrange them into layer groups so it's easy to work with, and create some adjustment layers for us so we have them to work with. So this is the image straight out of PiMagic Studio loaded into Photoshop, and you can see that we have individual layer groups. So the one on top is going to be for metadata, and if we zoom in we can see that that has our NGC 7000 title, 791 60-second subs for 13 hours and 11 minutes, captured with an S30 Pro, IMX 585, 160 millimeters, and so forth, the date and the location. So you get all that information. Now, because this is a separate layer, if we don't want to show it, we can just turn that off. Next, we have the annotation layer group. So if we look at what's included there, if we click on the little chevron, there's the 3 layer groups. There's a census overlay in the lower left, which I can turn on and off independently. There's a sky map overlay that shows kind of the field of view in the sky. Again, I can turn that off. And then there's the main annotation that includes the name of different targets, names of stars, the astronomical grid, and so forth. And we can, again, turn that off. Next, we have stars. And in the stars layer group, we have the stars and then a levels adjustment layer there with no settings changed, just something that we could change, and a hue saturation. And this does, by default, add a little bit of saturation, color saturation to the stars. But again, it's a layer group we can turn off. Next is global adjustments, and this is just a set of adjustment layers that affects all of the image data that's below the global adjustment, which in this case, there's only one, and it has our individual layer. It has a endpoints that sets a neutral black point for the image, and then some other adjustment layers. I'm going to just focus on the global adjustments, and this would be the case if there's 1 layer, 2 layers, 5 layers. The global adjustments will always affect the entire image except for the stars. And if I just go to this levels, which is like a histogram transformation in PixInsight, if I move these sliders, for instance this white slider, if I move the whites slider to the left, it will brighten the light areas. If I move the midpoint, it will brighten the midpoints. If I move the black slider, it'll darken the dark areas. If I go to the hue saturation and move the hue slider to the right, it'll increase the color saturation if I want to do that. If I want to change the color balance, if I wanted to have more red or more blue, I could adjust that globally. If I want to crop the image, again, this is just Photoshop, so I can open a crop tool and maybe crop the image like this. And let's turn the stars back on. And I usually like to reduce the stars, and what that means generally is making the stars darker. So if I go to this levels adjustment layer within the stars layer group, if I move the midpoint slider to the right to darken, it's darkening only the stars, and it's not affecting the hue of or the brightness of the background, just like adjusting this levels adjustment for the background doesn't affect the stars. When I'm done, I can decide if I want the metadata to show. Now, because we've cropped it, the metadata is up here outside the frame, but if I grab my move tool and move it down inside the frame, there it is. And at this point, I might want to go to File, Save, and save this as a Photoshop document, or I might want to export it as a JPEG at a different resolution. Whatever you can do editing a photo, you can do, because this is just plain old Photoshop at this point. All it's done is create the files for you and then set it up for success so that every image you open is going to have the same structure, and you'll know that you can turn these layers off and on, you can adjust the stars, you can adjust the background, and so forth. I'm convinced this is by far the easiest way to process astrophotos. The only thing that may be complicated is learning your way around these layers if you're not familiar with Photoshop. And I would suggest if you start by just focusing on the global adjustments, and the main one you're going to use is the levels adjustment layer, which will affect the brightness of the background, and the color balance affects just the color of the background, and the hue saturation affects just the saturation of the background. So with those adjustments, you can do almost anything. If there are other tools you like to use, brightness, contrast, whatever, the camera raw, filter, anything you can use in Photoshop, you can use on this, because this is just a Photoshop document. So I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. And as always, I hope you have a great day today and an even better night tonight under a clear, dark sky. Thanks.